Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Time now for Viewsnight, our regular or irregular spot for ideas and views. Tonight it's Pankaj Mishra, essayist, writer and author of the recent book, The Age of Anger.
Blame modernity for our age of anger. How do we explain our age of anger? Why do racism and misogyny flourish on social media? What is the appeal of lying demagogues? Since 9/11, we have blamed the other, mostly Muslims, for political disorder. But the enemy now is more intimate, as we can see in the rise of Trump and the far right across Europe. The modern world's cherished ideals of liberty, equality, and prosperity are more popular than ever before. The problem is that it is difficult for the vast majority of the human population to realize them. These ideals were formulated by a tiny minority of ambitious white men in the 18th century, slave owners in America and networked intellectuals in Europe. Their projects of self-empowerment were never meant for the masses, for people not like them. Since 1789, many peoples so deliberately excluded, whether women, enslaved or colonized peoples, or the working classes, have struggled for liberty and equality through either revolution or social democracy. In recent decades, we have stopped talking about revolution and dismantled social democracy. We have transferred our expectations to the market. We hoped that global capitalism would create general prosperity and equalize societies. Instead, as more and more people around the world have sought wealth at increasing cost to the environment, we have seen a massive increase in inequality. The result is a toxic politics of resentment that demagogues exploit. This militant disaffection incited by unequal societies is nothing new. For the last 2 tumultuous centuries, we have been encouraged to pursue ideals that were designed for the benefit of a homogeneous few. Billions of people are now chasing a very fragile illusion with ever-increasing frustration. To understand our age of anger, we must not only look at the symptoms such as ISIS, economic disparity, or the far right, but also at the root cause, the ideals that underpin modernity. Only then can we make the ideals of liberty and equality work for our diverse and environmentally challenged societies.
That was Pankaj Mishra's view, and Pankaj is with me here now. You're quite down on the way the world has been running itself. You wouldn't think, listening to your Viewsnight, that over the last 2 decades, 1 billion people have been taken out of acute poverty in the world. Has it really been as bad as you describe it?
Well, they have been taken out of poverty, but have we thought about where they will go next? What will happen to the one, and these are just 1 billion people that have been taken out of poverty. There are more people waiting to be taken out of poverty.
Yeah, there are another 1 billion waiting to be taken out.
And they have been promised, that they will share in the prosperity that is being created by a global capitalist economy worldwide. And we know that they will not attain that particular utopia. The world, the planet itself doesn't have the resources to cater to that kind of fantasy.
So is that the critique, that effectively the planet is limited and it can't provide?
Not only that,
all,
the critique is not just at the environmental level, it is also political. We are seeing the politically toxic consequences of feeding people false promises. You know, something in which this kind of discourse that billions of people are being lifted out of poverty, progress is happening, is irreversible, is inevitable. I think this discourse, which the media has been actually disseminating at least since the end of the Cold War, is very much complicit in this.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, you go back to 1789, and you were quite critical of the pattern of the Enlightenment and the way the white men had, if you like, colonized the world and looked after themselves. It actually trickled down quite a bit, didn't it, to the societies where I'm not talking about the whole world.
Not fast enough. Not fast enough.
But you look at where people were between, say, year zero and and the Industrial Revolution, they were basically chugging along at about $2 or $3 a day on average.
Yeah.
And now we're all just sitting around basically, well, the poverty line in the United States is $63 a day for a family of 4. So call that $16 a day per person. Now that is just incomparably better than life was 200
Yeah, but
years.
I think the problem is, I mean, this is where we're all going wrong. When you are computing, when you're talking about such massive changes in terms of statistic, facts, you're talking about people being lifted out of poverty, what you are failing to consider is that people that are actually, making these massive changes, making these massive moves in their life, they're also experiencing loss, disillusionment, frustration. This is what the book is partly about. These ideas that we have lived with, I'm not saying they're not admirable, they're not worthy of pursuit. I'm saying that they have caused terrible, terrible disillusionment and disaffection for a long time. And many, many times that disaffection has become politically toxic, and that is what we are witnessing
No,
today.
I do agree. But I mean, one reason why there might be so much disillusion in the world is that the technology basically has shown people what they're missing in a way that it didn't.
Absolutely.
They're much better off and much of the world.
Well, this is the
but
problem.
now they know how
This
much
is the
worse
problem
off they
that,
were.
This is the paradox here. That
But don't
whenever
blame
things improve, that is when political disorder happens.
why-
because people's expectations go through the roof.
Why racialize that and say it's about white men? I mean, basically, the capitalist system that those white men invented works in China.
I'm stating a truth which is too often ignored. Barack Obama ignored it in his farewell speech. He said that protesting African Americans are basically demanding the equality that was promised to them by the founding fathers. This is wrong. This is not history. This is a fantasy. So I think, first we have to acknowledge that these ideas were created by a small group of self-serving people who wanted liberty from, certain specific authorities of their time. They were not really thinking about liberty for everyone. They had very clear distinctions about even who was human and who was not.
Yeah. And now, of course, as time progressed, they extended their realm of the human.
Who is there
the
here?
people you're talking about.
No, I think people fought for those liberties. They fought for those and got them. They were not given to them. Segregation existed until until the late 20th century.
There was something.
Yes, and so you have to fight for those things.
What is your counter hypothesis? What's the system you would like to see?
I would like to see a system that's politically sustainable, that's environmentally sustainable,
an economy
which one is that? That doesn't. I mean, you basically. This is why I say that you have to think about our place in the world and the world transformationally.
But which
you just cannot go on with the old system.
Which system has been demonstrably better? I mean, this is because we're in the middle of a lot of angst in the West.
We are now
down.
in the modern world. We are now in the modern world. There's no going back. That's for sure. We cannot hope to construct
capitalist Western democracy. Is that basically the best system? I mean,
well, have we tried other systems?
Well, they've been tried from time to time, and they've done pretty badly.
What I'm arguing is that people have basically, what we are dealing with is monoeconomics. What we've been witnessing is monojournalism. People just thinking that one system works for the entire world. And, we know that those one-size-fits-all solutions lie in tatters today. They lie in ruins today.
Pankaj, thanks very much.
I've been getting away with it all.